One morning, Homer hastily threw on his clothes, intent on making a quick getaway from the house. The reason was rather absurd.
I need a ride to Cub Scouts. Why are you asking me? Is your thumb broken? Have him back by Father's Day!
By the time Marge went upstairs to look for him, he had already disappeared. In fact, Homer had fled to Moe's tavern with his mobile in hand, urging Moe to pour him a pint straight away. Marge's calls rang again and again, but Moe, utterly unhurried, calmly tied on his apron before leisurely getting on with pulling the beer.
I need it now!
After polishing off his first pint, Homer finally answered the phone, claiming he hadn't realized he was meant to be taking the children anywhere, and had therefore only just stopped for a quick drink. Marge demanded to know why he was drinking at 8 in the morning, then pressed him on how much he'd actually had.
Come on. Woohoo! Off the hook!
Left staring at the day's tightly packed schedule, she could only sigh in exasperation.
Yeah, while you're at it, can you pick me up some beer?
With no other choice, Marge loaded the children into the car and set off. First stop was Maggie's birthday party, except, to her horror, it was Bart who hopped out when they arrived. She had to reverse back and properly drop Maggie off before flooring it to collect Lisa after her performance. At one point, she even found herself trailing behind a police car in the middle of a high-speed chase, following it all the way to the gymnastics center. Snake casually remarked that they still had an hour and fancied a coffee. Chief Wiggum generously offered to pay, only for Snake to shrug and say he'd rather just nick one. Next, Marge sped Bart to the baseball field, then dashed off to take Lisa to her swimming lesson. She even drove alongside the pool, keeping pace with Lisa as she swam. The moment Lisa completed a lap, she scrambled back into the car without even drying herself off. With a dramatic skid and a neat drift, Marge swung round to collect Maggie once the party had finished. While waiting at a set of traffic lights, she spotted Helen in the next car. Instantly, their competitive instincts flared. The second the lights turned green, both of them shot forward. Even in the midst of their impromptu race, they still managed to drop their children off along the way. The contest ended only when Helen's car careered into a water tower.
See you at the bake sale, sucker!
At long last, Marge ticked off the final item on her schedule. Just then, she was astonished to discover that cars could be fitted with illuminated signs. The owner explained that it showed he was available to take paying passengers. When Marge asked if he was a taxi driver, he immediately shook his head. It was more like an app-based private hire service, he explained. Customers booked online, he drove them to their destination, and the fare was calculated fairly. Marge reflected that she'd spent the entire day driving around without earning so much as a penny. If she had been paid, she mused, she could have bought herself an automatic ice maker. When the driver asked whether she'd like to join, Marge readily agreed.
Are you over 23?
Yes.
And are you under 80?
Yes.
You're in!
And he promptly fixed a sign to her car.
What the? When I was a young car, I didn't sit around smiling like I had nothing better to do.
On the way home, her phone pinged with her first booking. Thrilled at the prospect of finally earning some money, she picked up her first passenger, Shauna, and drove her to her destination. Shauna, in turn, realized she didn't have to rely on her looks to get a lift after all.
You know, if you really want to get your belly button pierced, go see a professional.
I'm ready for you, babe. I'm gonna have this done properly at a kiosk in the mall. I'm Shauna.
Her second passenger was Nelson, who cheekily asked Marge to be his mum for the journey. Then came William, who somehow persuaded her to drive around while he mowed a lawn. Whatever the request, Marge handled each passenger with effortless good humor, sometimes even pressing a bit of cash into their hands herself.